Hi,
Thank you for
Jay.
letting me know.
My name is Alexis Neophytides. I am the co-director of Fire Through Dry Grass.
My name is Andres J. Molina, the other co-director of Fire Through Dry Grass.
And these are our answers to Tinsel and Time's 5 questions for indie filmmakers. So the first one, Jay, is in a nutshell, what was the main inspiration for the film and the theme that's at the heart of it?
Yes. Well, I live at Kohler Nursing Home Facility in Roosevelt Island, New York. And during the COVID pandemic, administration brought a patient into my room and put him in the bed right next to me. Being the fact that I have underlying conditions, a lot of underlying conditions, I took that as, like my life was put in danger. And I called the director of Open Doors at that time, Jenny Lee Brewster, and I had a conversation with her. And after the conversation, we decided to make a film about the situation. And we called Alexi, my co-director, and she agreed to do the film with me.
What do you think are the main themes of the film, or the main theme?
It is that nursing home lives matter. We can be oppressed. We won't be oppressed.
Okay. The next question is about the music. So tell us a bit about the music, who we worked with, et cetera, et cetera. I think for this film, we had a really interesting process of working on the music because we wanted it to feel like the Reality Poets, and the Reality Poets had already put out an album. So we had Vincent Pierce, one of the main participants, who was going to do some of the music. And then we worked with our composer, Gene Back, who did most of the score. So for a couple of the songs, he paired with Vince, and they had collaborations, and some of that is in the film. Vince had some of his own music, which is in the film. And then for most of the score, we worked with Gene to create something that held a lot of tension, but it wasn't too leading or over the top. Do you remember how we came up with your backstory?
Yes.
Music?
Yes. Since I am from the Dominican Republic, I like bachata music, and I asked Gene to make some bachata music for my backstory, which he did masterfully.
Yeah, he did a great job. And some of the sounds that he used also have this sort of dreamy, magical quality that I think helped us go back into the memories. We worked a lot also on the outside inside feeling with the music. So when you go outside and you're on Roosevelt Island, it was like a little bit more expansive, and we tried to find this kind of dreamy, magical quality that went along with that also for the outside stuff. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, that the most of the music also has a hip hop feel because we are from that background.
Yeah, Vince's stuff in particular, which is awesome. And the last song at the end of the film was so great. Okay, the next question is, in 1 or 2 words, describe each of the leads, these incredible people who were able to advocate for themselves and others during the early dangers of COVID. And I guess one of those people is you, and I can start by describing you. I mean, I know you really well now, but so I'll just describe you. In the film, I think you're really the center of the story. You situate us in time and space, and in your story and how you got to Kohler, and you really act as a guide leading us through the entire film.
And Vince, he's the badass, the one that don't take nothing for granted. And also the activist. He was the one that founded the nursing home last matter movement, and he leads it. Var is the comedian. He's the one that doesn't take bullshit from nobody. P, he's the historian. Also the older wise guy, the guy that with all the knowledge basically, and the one that knows a lot because he's been through a lot and he's been alive for a lot of years basically.
The next question is to give a shout out to our creative team and everyone who helped us get to Black Star, which really I think we could talk about for hours, but we can just try to do it real quick.
First, we'd like to give a shout out to Jenny Lee Brewster, one of our producers. Amazing woman, fantastic, love her. Also, our 2 fantastic editors, Diana Diroy, and Medaya Meliani. They did a fantastic job putting this film together.
Amazing job. We had so many different parts and characters and everything, and yeah, it was amazing. We also had two great co-producers, Pete, who's in the film, Peter Yearwood, and Sarah Fuqua, who came on and helped us enormously. On the producer train, we also had a great associate producer, Zana Ashworth, and two phenomenal executive producers, Sarah Boulder and Jim Lebrecht, who really helped us get this film off the ground. Vincent Pierce, who did some of the music and is a reality poet. The badass that you were talking about before, who we already mentioned, worked with our composer, Gene Back. And then I think last but certainly not least, we should mention Guillermo Mena. You want to talk a little bit about him?
Yes. Guillermo Mena is our director of animation, and he made all the fantastic animations that went along with our background stories. He did a fantastic job.
And then all of the reality poets, I mean, all of the participants in the film were such a huge part of our team. So, I mean, I think most importantly, a shout out to all of the participants in the film, not only for being in partnership and collaboration with us as we made this and sharing their stories and being so vulnerable, but also for sharing their poetry, which is so central to the film. Okay, the last question is, name 5 favorite films which influenced your desire to be a filmmaker.
For me, Full Metal Jacket, Stanley Kubrick masterpiece, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, 2 of the best Quentin Tarantino movies, Saving Private Ryan, which I don't even remember the director.
I think it's Spielberg.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Steven Spielberg, yes, you're right. Minding the Gap, which is a great documentary, which I watched a couple of times, where I got my inspiration from.
For me, I always have a different answer every time I answer this kind of question. But I remember that, like, some of the first couple of documentaries that I ever saw in a cinema were Hands on a Hard Body and Hoop Dreams. Really different films, but I think they were out around the same time, and it really got me thinking about what you could do with nonfiction. Another one of my favorite films, I would say, is The Act of Killing. That to me really, again, pushed the boundaries of what a documentary could be artistically. I don't know, maybe if we talk about this next week, I'll have another answer. Anything else?
Not for me.
Not for me either. Thanks for listening. Bye, Jay.
Bye, Alexis.